Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Lara Sturm.
Welcome to episode 198. How are you, Josh?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Cool. Good talk. So the training app, I'm going to mention it again. We are offering 25% off of your first month if you use discount code PL Ballads Podcast in all capitals. You can find the link to it in our bio on Instagram. But it's as of yesterday, or at least the first time I noticed it, it has a new feature. And basically, we have different programs posted on there, but as of yesterday, at least that's when I noticed it, you can put in just like specific workouts. So somebody could just add a one-time workout to their day. So I put in a couple like hip mobility drills, things like that, so people can try that out as like a warm up and stuff. There'll be a couple other things added there by the time this comes out, but something to check out. So again,
Yes.
You can find that at the link in our bio for the Team Roar training app. Do it.
So, devil's advocate question. You're saying it's 25% off. What's the full price?
I don't even know. Hold on. I can tell you. That's normally $29.99 a month. So you get 25% off your first month.
Okay.
Good question that I didn't know the answer to.
Wow. Well, now you do.
Well, I do now, but I'll forget in another 20 minutes. So you ask me next week and I'll forget.
I'll ask you at the end of the call. How's that?
Is the pollen getting to you yet?
Yes, it's starting.
My eyes are itching like crazy. It didn't help though. So I just came back from the Y. I was doing pickleball again, but I rode Hope's scooter over there. So like the wind's blowing in your face. And I had my glasses on, but not like safety goggles. I need like safety goggles or something to keep all the pollen out of my eyes because I'm like itching
All right. So back up.
hardcore.
You rode Hope's scooter.
Yeah.
So scooter as in like moped?
Yeah, moped. 50cc,
Ooh.
50cc boss.
You see me rolling,
Yeah.
hating, kind of like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
I was really picturing you in like a motorized scooter, like one of the ones that's like oh, what are those called? My kids were so into them. A razor scooter, but with a motor.
I have no idea what that means. What that
Oh
is.
my gosh, you are a parent of young children. That's why you don't know. You know, when you go into Atlanta, you see those rental scooters everywhere.
Oh yeah, like the birds
Mm.
and the limes,
Lime,
those
yeah,
things. Yeah.
that's what I was picturing. I mean, you would look really cool on one of those.
I've rode.
Ridden.
I rided those before. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
They have more get up and go than Hope's scooter.
Oh, yeah. Well, you must have looked really cool on that moped too, though.
I do look pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
so I was driving it the other day. This was like a week ago, and at the end of our street, I was at the stop sign, and one of our neighbors like came around the corner and was with his wife, and he was either having a really funny conversation or he looked at me and just started laughing. I'm not sure the answer. So, but like he literally made eye contact with me like in a full out laugh as he's driving. And my assumption is he was laughing at me, but I don't know that for sure. I never asked him.
I would assume that too. Yeah. I think it's safe to say,
Yeah, probably.
but yeah, it's okay.
I didn't want to know the answer.
You're so comfortable with your manhood
That's
or your
right.
masculinity, because manhood sounds wrong. Your masculinity, that you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say that. Sounds good.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
yeah. Let's see. So high school nationals happened this past weekend, and I could not find the team results anywhere. So the only results I could find for the team scoring was from Eric Cordero's Instagram, and it was just in relation to the team he coaches. So Boston Latin Powerlifting was the girls varsity national champion and the combined varsity national champion team in the Raw division, it looks like. So, uh, congratulations to them. And if there were other results posted somewhere, I haven't seen them, so I could not announce them, and I did not spend that much time looking for them. So that's all. That's all we have on that.
And that's all I can say about that.
Yeah. But it
Nice.
was sounded from everything I heard, it was a really good meet. Quentin Meyer did a really good job running it up in Wisconsin. I think they had over 800 high school lifters, so it's
Wow,
pretty crazy.
that is crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's like how it is in Texas when they have like one high school.
yeah. The Texas high school is crazy. They have like their division, like 1A, 2A, 3A, like all the different division state championships separate, plus the whole season with the regionals and everything. It's crazy.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
That's what they say. They ride motorcycles in Texas instead of scooters.
Well, everybody generally does.
Generally, everybody rides
Yeah,
motorcycles and
yeah,
not scooters. Yeah, that's
true.
fair.
But all right,
Yeah.
well, let's move on to the powerlifting situation. You get called high on a squat that felt deep. You check the video and it looks borderline. What do you do?
You squat lower. I mean, that's the real answer. Like I would say a lot of people will take the video to the jury and say, why was this called red? And that's not, you don't do that. Like one, they don't use video, but two, if you looked at it yourself and you think it's borderline, there's no way the jury's going to overturn it. So you literally squat lower on your next attempt, like end of discussion. Don't be an idiot.
Wow. Yeah, because sometimes feelings aren't facts.
Right.
Yeah, like you'd be like, wow, it really felt deep. Could have sworn. And then I mean it's happened to me where I've been like, that was totally deep. And then I saw the video, I was like, oh no, actually it wasn't. So yeah, squat deeper.
Yeah, and if you looked at the video or if your coach said, yeah, that was definitely deep, then yeah, obviously go to the jury and protest it. But if you yourself looked at the video and you think it's borderline, like it's very unlikely it's going to get overturned. So why waste everybody's time?
Agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a slam dunk, pretty easy solution. But
Right.
it's funny because a lot of people are posting on Instagram in the comments like sarcastic
Mm,
answers. Like, hold
yeah.
on, there's one that's my favorite. Let me find it real quick.
Throw a fit out and leave them meet
It's
altogether.
base it's basically that, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to pin this as the favorite. Is from Dane Roach. He's on the technical committee. He says, "Go to the jury with your phone and put it an inch in front of their face and try to make them watch the video while also yelling angrily at them. If there is no jury, change the word jury to referees." And then in parentheses it says, "This is highly sarcastic. Please do not do any of this."
I'm glad he added
Yeah,
that part because
that's my favorite comment so far.
yeah. Yeah.
Because that's exactly like the only reason that's funny is because there's a lot of people that literally do that exact thing, and
Yeah.
it's not okay, and it's not appropriate, like, at all.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen people who are, big lifters in their gym, in their local gym, and they go into a powerlifting meet and they, open with their PR and they get called high on a squat that felt deep and maybe or maybe not, they didn't have video or not, I don't know. But I have heard them like, bad mouthing the referees. And I was the meet director, kind of overheard this, and I was like, dude, sorry, I hate to tell you, but it wasn't deep.
It's
Like,
not it's not the referee's fault that you as a
yeah,
lifter and or coach don't know the
right,
rules. Like,
right. There's that too.
yeah,
Ego lifting, which
Eagle.
brings us into ego,
Go,
EGO.
go.
That too. So ego lifting brings us into the new lifter tip, I think, which is to follow a structured program. A well-designed training plan with a progressive overload will help you build strength efficiently. Don't just lift randomly. Have a purpose behind your workouts.
Yes, agreed. I
Yes.
think, I mean, I think a lot of people have ADD, for lack of a better term. Like as soon as they don't enjoy something or they feel like they're not making progress, they just completely change and do something completely different instead of following the program.
Mm.
And that might feel like the answer, but it's really like selling yourself short in terms of long-term progress because, even if you got to give a program the opportunity to work, right? Like it's designed that way for a reason. And just jumping back and forth randomly or just doing different, whatever you feel like doing that day is fine if you just want to work out, right? But if you want to train and actually get ready for a competition and be at your performance peak on competition day, you need to follow a plan that's well laid out and planned. So yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah. I mean, if it's kind of like, what do the best lifters do? Do the best lifters just go in and randomly do things? No. They have a plan. They follow it.
Not
They
none
execute
that
it.
I've met.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, maybe like Anatoly. Have you
Dude,
seen
I
the
love that
Anatoly?
guy.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
yes. I love him.
I spend way too much time watching his videos during the day, every day.
Yes. I recently saw a video that he had done before, and then they changed it into a yogurt ad, um, which I was like, oh, brilliant marketing. Nice. But yeah, I love how he comes up all like, uh, with his, janitor outfit and just seeming like he's just some random
And
dude
his
and he
his
has no
32
idea.
kilogram mop, like he carries his 32 kilogram mop and like hands it to somebody else to hold, and it just like they drop it.
Yeah.
Like,
They're
what
like,
the hell?
whoa. And he's like,
Yeah,
why are you lifting with fake plates? And then
yeah,
he reps out their max.
yeah.
Yeah. Or he snatches with one hand, like something pretty, like any snatch with one hand. All right, that's not a dumbbell, is pretty impressive. But then he'll do it with, serious weight with one hand. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
just yeah, the dude is love him.
Yeah, my favorite's when like really big dudes are deadlifting and he asks if he can clean there, and he just like they're talking in the corner, he'll just go pick it up and walk it off the platform and set it down. And then they kind of like realize like, wait, what? What did he
Yeah,
just do?
yeah, I love it. He's
It's
amazing.
funny.
So, good stuff.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. All right, so we have a new section on our podcast. May not last. We'll see. Random BS, which was spelled BEE space S, like B stuff.
Like
Um,
B shit
yeah, B stuff. B shit.
stuff.
Okay, yeah, there's that.
Random
Um,
B shit.
so here's a random B shit topic for you. So this is one of the things that when I first was learning about beekeeping, I kind of did this like head tilt, like what? Wait, that what? So when you have an egg that's unfertilized, I've always assumed unfertilized egg means nothing's born, right?
Are we talking chicken eggs or are we talking bees?
We're talking bees or just nature in general.
So
Like,
bee so I'm completely dumb when
so
it comes to bees. So are bees born in eggs?
bees are hatched from eggs, yes. Most
Interesting.
reproduction of animals in general involve an egg. Whether or not it's inside the animal or outside the animal is, the difference in a lot of things. But a lot of insects lay eggs, right? Chickens lay eggs. They have to be fertilized to hatch. People have eggs. They're fertilized, inside the body. Basic reproduction stuff. I know you're not familiar with this, except you have two children, so whatever. So I always thought in nature, just in general, like immaculate conception doesn't exist, right? A egg has to be fertilized to produce another living being. No, it doesn't.
Is this
Mind blowing.
specific to bees or is
It's
this
is specific to bees, but there are some other animal species that this happens to, but it's generally like a rare phenomenon. And, I guess I'm not familiar with all of biology, of course, but bees have, male and female bees, right? One of those is a egg that's never fertilized. And that's how it becomes a drone, which is which is the male bee.
So
So male bees,
unfertilized bee eggs become drones.
yes. Is that crazy shit? And they
So
are a copy of the queen, except that they're male.
so the so let me make sure my mind is wrapped around this.
Hmm.
So a unfertilized bee egg basically lacks the fertilization from the male.
Yes,
So by lacking the fertilization from the male becomes male.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
That just
it's
doesn't seem to make sense to me, but
right. I was like, that happens? How does that happen? And so a lot of the only thing a drone does in life, the only thing they're good for is to get with the queen. That's the only thing that they do. So if you ever see a bee out foraging, it's not a drone. If you ever see a bee doing a task within a hive, like cleaning or caring for the queens, or bringing out, they clean out their dead and throw them out. If you see a bee doing any type of work whatsoever, it's not a drone.
so it's female.
Yeah, female. Only the
So
women do the work whatsoever. The drones do one thing. Well, two things, maybe three. They eat, sleep, and fuck.
that's what the drone does.
Yep. Just like
Thug
humans.
thug life.
Yeah, right. Every man's dream.
So so basically we never see a drone because that would require it doing
Yeah.
something to see it, right? Like do they fly around and do anything outside the hive?
They do leave the hive only for one reason, to
Well, it's
hang out.
eat, sleep, or
Yeah. They don't eat outside the hive. They don't sleep outside the hive, but they do try to get with the queen outside the hive.
so the
They
queen, like a different hive's queen,
could be
or
their own queen, but most likely it's another hive's queen.
so the queen leaves its hive too to
Yeah.
go
The
F around.
only time the queen ever leaves the hive, and she only does this when she's a young queen, and she only does a couple flights this way, is to go find what's called the drone congregation area, which is like a bar, but for drones.
This sounds like
And
this sounds like a bunch of old guys drunk sitting around a fire making up stuff.
basically, right? It sounds like that, but it's true. Like drones congregate in an area. I don't know how they decide what this area is, but it's generally like 30 to 60 feet above the ground, up somewhere. And they all seem to know where to go. And they all hang out in this area, buzzing around. Sometimes I guess you can see it if you know what you're looking for. And they're just hanging out up there, waiting for a young queen to come on through. And
So
we'll continue this next week because there's
I have
way
so
more on
many
that
questions.
subject.
I have so many questions. This podcast is taking a turn.
Yeah. Bees are like a whole different type of, I mean, yeah, of course, they're a different type of animal. They're an insect, but it's so random, some of the stuff that they do that I've learned. I'm just like, wait, what?
Hmm. Well,
So
I have
yeah,
so many questions next week.
okay.
Follow up
We're
on
gonna
that.
keep going.
Oh man, cool. Well, that's all I have. Do you have anything else random?
Pat Benatar is way underplayed as the 80s
I
star.
agree.
That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I saw something on Facebook or Instagram that one of the original VJs turned 80 today or yesterday or something. So how does that make you
Oh,
feel?
old.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's super cool. Another fun thing to make you feel old, Back to the Future. In 1985, Marty went back to 1955, right? 30
Yeah.
years. That's the equivalent of Marty today going back to 1995. Does that
Wow.
make you feel old?
Yeah. Ah. Can we just agree though that musically it was probably the best decade? Just
Who do
saying.
you think you're talking to? Absolutely, yes.
Oh, okay. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we do understand that.
Yeah, there's no decade better than the 80s for music, like hands down.
We were so naive back then, and it was such bliss.
Yeah. That's like, what's that quote from The Office? Like, I wish somebody would have told me that we were living in the good old days when we were actually there,
Mm.
or something like that.
Wait, but what year were you born in?
I was born in 83. I was a decade late in my existence.
At least, yeah, because you were just. But I mean, what's cool is I remember music from the 70s, which is basically when I grew up, right? Because it was part of my childhood. So you have that for your childhood.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So,
I actually grew up listening to the 70s because like classic rock is what we listened to like when we were milking cows and stuff. So I grew up listening to like all the 70s rock.
yeah,
So
Steppenwolf.
I actually found, yeah, Steppenwolf. Like, yeah, so I actually found the 80s like kind of on my own after that because it wasn't really playing, they weren't really playing classic rock. They weren't playing 80s in class on the classic rock stations
Right.
at that time because that would have been like late 80s, early 90s. I don't even know how I came across the 80s.
Hmm.
It was just too good to keep me away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I approve. Good work, Josh Rohr.
Good work. Another stellar episode, Laura. Filled with very minimal powerlifting information. Like didn't do very much research on the results of high school nationals. So we got little bits and pieces there, but we got a whole lot of random BS.
Exactly. We're gonna have to just rename the podcast.
Random BS.
Yeah, random
BS.
BS.
I mean, it's basically what it is.
All right, all right. Here's what I'm gonna leave you with. Dad joke.
Yes, I love it. Oh, there's a great Facebook page of just like random dad jokes.
Dad jokes.
Yeah. It's like two
Wh-
guys sitting on a pier drinking coffee telling
I've
dad
seen
jokes.
that. I love that.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
so
yes.
good.
Yes, they're awesome. Um, why did the bees stay in their hive all winter?
No idea.
Swarm. There you go.
Oh, it's so stupid but so good.
It is. It is.
I love it. Cool. All right. Well, on that note, I will see you next week.
All right. See you later, Josh Rohr.
Later.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.